Hey, Carl White here. Hey, I'm going to tell you a very kind of a personal story that I think might help you out. So sometimes when we hire people to add to our team, sometimes we hesitate to do that because what if they don't work out? Or maybe we've tried somebody in the past and it didn't work out, and we hung on to them a little bit long. We might have should have let them go, but we don't know exactly how to do that, and we hope maybe they'll work out when we know that particular one's not a good fit. And it doesn't mean that we shouldn't get help. We definitely want to get help. It just means that wasn't the right person. So how do you let somebody go? And how do you do that when you're like a nice person and you want to help people? You don't want to hurt them. Let me share with you this story. A few years back, so first of all, I used to work at a egg company, right? I literally washed eggs for a living. Some of you knew that, some of you didn't know that, but now you know. I literally washed eggs for a living, and we did about 750,000 eggs a day. It was a lot of eggs, right? Well, here's the thing. You put, I don't know, how old was I? Probably 20 at the time. You put 20-year-old Carl with 750,000 eggs, and there's going to be some debauchery, right? And there was. And I got fired. I did a joke on my boss, and he didn't think it was funny, and he fired me, right? At the time, I was absolutely devastated. Like I literally, where I came from, in a very rural area in Central Florida, all my friends and family, either, orange grovers, pig farmers, a lot of them worked at the egg factory. I mean, just kind of good old salt of the earth people. And that's all I knew, right? So I thought I was going to work there like forever. Well, when I got fired, I was absolutely devastated. A guy named Bill was my boss, Bill Ashton, and he fired me, right? And as I look back, well, he should have. Anyway, that led into a sequence of events where I went and got another job and another job and another job until I do what I do today, which is helping tens of thousands of loan officers across the nation, which I absolutely love doing, both in my own branch and to everybody else, right? Well, a few years back, I was riding my motorcycle and just riding around, and I saw the egg factory go by on my left-hand side as I was driving my motorcycle down the road. And I thought, man, it's been a long time since I've been there. So I turned around and I went into the parking lot and I sat there and I thought, man, that's been a long time ago. And I remember the times there, and I remember Bill firing me. And I thought, how cool would it be to go walk inside and see what the place looks like? So I rang the little doorbell there, and a young lady answered the door and said, can I help you? And I told her, I said, hey, before you were born, I used to work here. And she goes, oh, cool. And I said, would it be okay if I just kind of peeked inside and walked around a little bit just to see what it looks like, kind of as a reminiscing thing? And she said, yeah, that'd be okay. Just keep your hands in your pockets, a lot of machinery. You didn't want me to get hurt. I said, of course. So I went inside and I'm walking around a little bit, and it had definitely changed. And I heard somebody call out my name. And I'm going to change the names here for the story. But let's say Steve. I hear somebody go, Carl? Is that you, Carl? And I looked around, and I didn't recognize him at first, but I recognized the voice. It was somebody that I used to work with. His name was Steve. And it was like, Steve? And he said, Carl, what are you doing here? And I told him I was just riding around and stopped, and he said, somebody else is still here too. And I said, who's that? And he said, Marcia. I said, Marcia's still here? He said, yeah, let me show you. So we went over and he introduced me to Marcia, and we caught up with old times. And yeah, they were still working there. Now and I'm not being disrespectful by this, but understand that when I left there, I was making somewhere around minimum wage. And that's still what they paid there at that time. They were making somewhere around minimum wage. That's just what it paid, right? And so I could feel this welling up that, gosh, they're still here, right? They're still here. And I started thinking, what if I hadn't have been fired that day? And so I'm thinking all this while we're talking. I had to get out of there, right? I could feel these emotions welling up in me. And so I did my little pleasantries. Great catching up with you guys. And I went back outside. I leaned against my motorcycle. I'll never forget this. I leaned about my motorcycle, and I literally started weeping almost uncontrollably, and it was out of joy. And my weeping as a grown man sitting there, which must have been a sight to see. I'm sitting there leaning against my Harley Davidson wearing my leather jacket, and I'm weeping like a little boy, right? And my tears were, dear God, thank you so much for having Bill fire me that day. Because when Bill was an awesome guy. I think he's still alive, actually. So when Bill fired me, that led me to where I moved up to Virginia. And then some of you heard my campfire story. So I left there. I left there, came down to the University of South Florida, randomly by chance, met the lovely Mrs. White, and then went into another career. And then I met Ralph. Ralph Watkins is the one that got me in the mortgage industry. Forever grateful. I met Tammy Schneider, who's one of my partners. Met Diane Ranger, who's one of my partners. But none of that would have ever happened had Bill not fired me. So here I stand today teaching tens of thousands of loan officers across the nation, having one of the largest mortgage branches in all the nation. And, I'm not saying this to brag, but literally making millions and millions of dollars a year in personal income. And that never would have happened had Bill not fired me that day. And the purpose of me sharing this story with you today, if somebody's not working out, look, it's not working out for them either, right? It's not working out for them either. And by holding on to them in your mortgage company or in your mortgage branch working with you, you're very likely holding them back from finding out what they're amazing at. So we had no idea at the time that I seemed to have this knack for being a business executive, right? Who would have known? I would have had no idea had Bill not fired me that day. So what I saw at the time as a devastating action, other than meeting the lovely Mrs. White and some of you fine people, it's likely to have been one of the most majorly impactful blessings of my entire life was getting fired that day. So now when somebody's not working out, I understand that it's my obligation as a decent human being to release them to find out what they're amazing at, because I'll be darned if I'm going to hold them back from doing what they're amazing at. So it really changed my perspective of when somebody's not working out, it's okay to let them go, because we're releasing them to find what they are amazing at and to find out what their journey of awesomeness is like. So anyway, I just wanted to share this with you today. I know a lot of people kind of struggle with this particular subject. So, hey, thanks so much for letting me be part of your life. It's absolutely been a wonderful journey. Looking forward to that journey continuing. And hey, if you ever want to chat, we'll put a link or something on here somewhere. Love to chat to see what you're up to and maybe how we could do something together. So I'm Carl White, and I'll talk to you on the inside.